I went into a restaurant to celebrate my daughter's first year of birth. And me and my wife went into this Mexican restaurant, and we were going to celebrate her first birthday, and they were playing salsa music at the restaurant, which was perfect because as a Latino, there has to be music when you're celebrating a birthday. Otherwise, it's not a celebration. So I go into the restaurant, I'm like, oh yeah, they're playing salsa music, yeah, it's gonna happen. And I look around, and nobody was dancing. Nobody but my baby daughter that was jumping up and down to the sound of the music on her little baby chair. Do you want to dance? I asked my daughter as I pick her up, as I carry her to the middle of the dance floor, as I dance with her to the salsa song. She laughed and she smiled. It's one of the most beautiful memories that I have. Sadly, life with my wife wasn't all happy memories, and we got divorced 5 years down the road. So my daughter started to come to the house only on the weekends. I became a weekend parent. And I lost a little bit of touch with my daughter. Throughout the years, she could come into my house on the weekends. When she was about 14 years old, she came to my house, and it was almost her birthday. So I wanted to celebrate her birthday, so we went to a Mexican restaurant close to my house. They were playing salsa music. Do you want to dance? I asked my daughter. I don't know how, she told me. Don't you worry about that, I told my daughter. You old man is a great salsa dancer. I could teach you the basics. Do you want to dance? I asked her again as I grabbed her hand, as I led her to the middle of the dance floor to teach her the basic steps. After that day, every weekend that she came over, we would go and sneak out of the house to the restaurant so I could teach her a little bit of salsa moves. But after a few months of that, she didn't want to go out to the Mexican restaurant anymore to learn how to dance salsa. So I figured that her mother had found out about it. Her mother was a Jehovah's Witness, and dancing and celebrations were not allowed. So I asked my daughter, did your mom find out that I was sneaking you out to salsa dancing? Are you in trouble? More importantly, am I in trouble? No, nothing like that, my daughter said. I just don't want to go salsa dancing anymore. I learned a few weeks later that the reason she didn't want to go out salsa dancing is because she was starting high school. And she figured that going salsa dancing with her old man was not a cool thing to do. So a couple of weeks later, we went to my mom's house, and she was celebrating her birthday. And I started dancing with my daughter. Look at her go, my mom said. She learned that from our side of the family. I told myself, I gotta keep salsa dancing with my daughter. So a few days later, I told my daughter, as a way to trick her into going back to the salsa floor, I asked her, do you want me to throw a big quinceañera, a big 15th birthday for your party, for your celebration, make a big celebration? And she's like, no, nothing like that. What I really need, she say, is a fancy camera from a photography class. Fancy sound expensive. Don't worry, my daughter responded. My dad is gonna pay half of it. And I go, your dad? I'm your dad. And she's like, oh, I meant my stepdad. And I immediately became so upset. You see, I didn't have any problem with her stepdad. He's actually a really cool man, and he was doing a big favor. He was helping me raise my daughter the best way possible. But from the moment that my wife and I got divorced, I told my daughter that she was the only daughter that I had. And she will always, always be my daughter, and I was always going to be her dad. But now she was calling somebody else dad, and it hurt. So I got really upset and I started an argument with my daughter that turned into a huge argument with my ex-wife when I dropped my daughter at her house. So a couple of months later, when my daughter came to me and gave me an invitation for a sweet 16 of a friend of hers, I was surprised. So I asked her, is this your way to give me thanks for the fancy camera that I bought you? She's like, no, you didn't have to do that. My stepdad was going to pay for half of it. It's just to say that me and my friends, well, we're doing this little salsa number on the Sweet 16, and I figured that you would like to see it. Of course I wanted to see it, but just one thing, my daughter said, don't cause any trouble. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, my stepdad and my mom are gonna be there, and I don't want you to do any drama or cause any trouble. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna cause any trouble. So I went to the Sweet 16, and I show up there, and I'm really excited because my daughter is gonna dance salsa on this little number on the Sweet 16 party, and I'm really excited. And then I see my daughter, and my daughter, who usually dressed with jeans and t-shirt, is wearing high heels, a dress, and makeup. I almost started crying. And then when my daughter and her friends started doing the salsa number, I did started crying to see my daughter all grown up dancing salsa, the step that I had taught her. But then, as the kids were dancing, I noticed that they stopped dancing and they started to walk into the crowd. And I'm like, the music's still playing. What are you guys doing? And I noticed that the kids started to walk to the tables where the parents were sitting. And the guys were coming back to the dance floor with the mother. And the girls were coming back to the dance floor with the father. And I looked for my daughter, and she was talking to her stepdad. And I got so mad because I wanted to dance with my daughter. But then I remember her words, don't cause any trouble, don't cause any drama. So I just looked down and I just started crying. Do you want to dance? I looked up to see my daughter grabbing my hand as she took me to the middle of the dance floor to dance the salsa number with her. And I know that I should have danced half of the song with her and then tell her to go dance with her stepdad. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that not because I had anything against the guy. Like I say, he's a really cool guy, helping me a lot. But this is my daughter. And I'm dancing salsa with my daughter, who to me, only days before, was just a little baby dancing in my arms. Thank you.